What about people that are underweight or having intestinal and digestive problems?
People who are underweight should never fast. Their body is already thin on the ground. They should never fast. They need to follow the GAPS nutritional protocol because the GAPS protocol heals the digestive system. We have, I don't know how many people all over the world who have recovered from Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, other inflammatory bowel disorders, from stomach problems, gastritis, hiatus hernia that you've mentioned, any kind of digestive disorder. GAPS diet heals these disorders completely. Whatever else happening in the body has got its roots in the digestive system. You might have rheumatoid arthritis and you'll say, well, my digestive system is all right. I have no gas, no pain, no constipation, no diarrhea. Despite the fact that you have none of those symptoms, the roots of your rheumatoid arthritis are in your gut. When you heal your gut with the GAPS diet, rheumatoid arthritis will disappear. Multiple sclerosis will disappear. Asthma, eczema, psoriasis, chronic cystitis, schizophrenia, epilepsy, all of these disorders disappear. All diseases begin in the gut, and that's where we have to start. I'd like to answer your question also, which you asked before about the mainstream medicine, why they don't have this information. Because the mainstream medicine is run by the pharmaceutical industry. Modern doctors, unfortunately, young people go into medical schools with pure intentions, really willing to do something good in the world. Good people, really good people. But the way the medical education is structured and the whole medical system, and it's a long education, 7 years of education, and then it continues much longer later on when you actually become the doctor. It is all structured in such a way as to turn these people into a sales force for the pharmaceutical industry to sell drugs. There are no solutions to any problem in the world as far as that model is concerned than drugs. There is a place for all forms of healing in the world. I'm a mainstream medical doctor myself. I got trained that way, but I got trained in a very different country, in the Soviet Union, where medicine was very different, very different medical training. So it wasn't commercial, non-commercial. So there is a place for all forms of healing in the world. And mainstream medicine has its place. If you got hit by a bus, God forbid, you want mainstream medicine because mainstream medicine knows how to save your life in an emergency situation. If your legs are broken, if something horrible happened, you need mainstream medicine and urgently. But when you have a chronic disease, chronic degenerative condition, such as a digestive disorder, migraines, allergies, mental illnesses, physical illnesses. Mainstream doctors are maybe the last people you want to go to. The first thing you want to do is to change your diet because food is the most healing substance in the world. Because the mainstream doctors, first of all, they are not allowed to know what causes diseases. They are carefully guarded so they do not get that information. In fact, their heads are filled with ideas that anything alternative, anything to do with food, acupuncture, Ayurveda, herbs, anything natural is quackery. It doesn't work. Homeopathy. The only thing that works is pharmaceuticals, and all those people don't know what they're talking about. So they have no idea what causes your disorder. They do not know the root cause of your disorder. Secondly, the only thing that they're trained to do is to suppress symptoms in your body. What are symptoms? Symptoms is the way your body communicates to you that you are hurting, you're damaging. Every disease in the world you caused yourself by your bad diet, your bad lifestyle, smoking, drinking, not sleeping well, working too much, experiencing negative emotions, all sorts of things that we do in life. That's what causes our illnesses. And when you are damaging the body will communicate back to you, damaging me by giving you pain, giving you inflammation, giving you limitation of function, giving you a rash, giving you a cough, giving you a temperature or something else like that. You go to the doctor gives you a pill to stop the pain, to stop inflammation, to remove the rash, to remove this symptom, to remove that symptom, to remove the temperature and so on. So by taking these pills, you're telling your body, stop calling for help, stop communicating to me, stop talking to me, and suffer in silence. These pills will not remove your disease will continue developing, your body will continue getting destroyed. But this time you will not be aware of because you're taking pills to silence your body. If that's what you want, and there are people in this world who are happy with that, then that's your choice. But if you would like to know what the real cause of your disease is and how do I actually get rid of it, good, forever, because every chronic disease can be healed, pretty much everyone, then you want to look into the alternative field. You don't want to go to the mainstream doctors. You want to read the books. You want to follow the GAPS nutritional protocol. You want to change your diet. You want to change your lifestyle. You want to start sleeping properly, deal with your emotions, deal with your attitudes to life, and just do the work on yourself. Grow as a human being.
Some people, actually a lot of people might think you, Dr. Natasha, are exaggerating, but my experience, I visited at least 10 years, a lot of doctors, and you're not exaggerating at all. 99.9% didn't mention nothing about nutrition. They knew nothing actually about food, real food, good food, eliminating processed food, even though most of my symptoms would be intestinal problems, pain. Actually, last years I would develop a lot of food reactions to actually most of the food. And again, most of the doctors would not even mention nutrition.
That's how they train. That's how it works. Yeah, because their function is to sell drugs. It is a Rockefeller medicine. We can go very deep into all of these things. It's a Rockefeller medicine, and if we go thousands of years before, then it's a slave medicine. It starts in ancient Greece, where Greek doctors created two forms of medicine because they had slaves in those days. Majority of jobs in the country were done in ancient Greece and in Roman Empire were done by slaves. The real medicine that they had for Greeks, for the Greek citizens, was when they would analyze the diet of the person. They would give the person herbs, they will change the diet, they will work on emotional state of the person, they will talk to the person a lot. And it all takes time, doesn't it? To do all these things and heal the person properly. It takes time. They didn't want to do that with slaves. With slaves, they wanted to give the slave something, the slave feels better, and off you go back to work. Yeah. That's how the slave medicine was developed in ancient Greece. And that's what an official medicine, nobody saw anything bad in it because they accepted that all the work is done by slaves. And you don't want to spend time with slaves analyzing their diet, analyzing their emotions or whatever. You just give them some herb or some pill and off they go back to work. That's the kind of medicine we live with today. That is the mainstream medicine. Doctors are not trained to really find out the cause of your disease, what exactly is wrong with you. They're trained to give you a pill to stop the pain, to stop inflammation, to stop the temperature, to stop the rash, off you go back to work. Yeah. And this medicine got really developed at the beginning of the 20th century by Rockefeller Foundation because Rockefellers were the owners of oil in America. And they were looking for new markets for their oil, and they discovered that they can make drugs from oil. At that time, medical schools in America and all over the world were teaching medical students to use herbs, to use homeopathy, to use diet, to use various natural methods for healing their patients. That was normal. That was the traditional way to do it. So all of those methods, Rockefeller Foundation pronounced to be quackery, to be nonsense. New institutions were set up, new education was set up, scientific institutions were set up to research all these oil-based drugs made out of oil. And it was pronounced that only things made out of oil and only things that have been properly researched on a scientific basis that they've done are the real medicine. That diet is a nonsense, acupuncture is a nonsense, homeopathy is a nonsense, herbs are a nonsense. That's how Rockefeller medicine was born. And it's spread all over the world. But today, the mainstream medicine is ancient Greek slave medicine or Rockefeller medicine.
They also put this oil, this petrol in cosmetic products and laundry products and basically, I guess, everywhere.
Absolutely, everywhere. The whole chemical industry. Chemical industry produces more than 100,000 chemicals today, which do not exist in nature. They're man-made chemicals. They're in your laundry, they're in your fire retardants, they're in your furniture, they're in all the paints, in all the cleaning chemicals in your house, at work, everywhere. They're in plastic, they're in wrapping of your food, they're in your water, they're everywhere, these chemicals. Most of them have never been researched, what effect they will have on your health. Many have been researched and all of them, 100%, have a very negative effect on human health. And nobody researched what cumulative effect is. When you take 2 or 3 of these things and take them together, what will happen. And there's very little research in that area. And they do have cumulative effect, these sort of things. So when people go on the GAPS nutritional protocol, we have a whole chapter in my books here, detoxification chapter, where we remove out of your house, out of your home, out of your environment, most man-made chemicals. Because if you want to recover, it is important to remove these things. Because human skin is not a barrier, it's a sponge. Anything you put on your skin absorbs in seconds. When you spray deodorant under your armpit, you can taste it in your mouth in seconds because it is already in your blood and in your saliva. It's in your mouth because the skin is not a barrier. So we remove all shampoo, bubble bath, shower gels, makeup, hair dyes, nails, lotions and potions and creams. We have various natural alternatives that we use for washing hair, for putting on your hands, putting on your skin, and so on. And the general rule is if you cannot eat it, you cannot put it on your skin, on your scalp, or brush your teeth with it. Only edible things can be put on the human body anywhere because your skin absorbs everything inside.
It's very sad that a lot of specialists, so-called specialists, come into these mainstream media platforms and talk and try to convince us that this little amount of additive or chemical product is okay, but actually not a single specialist talks about the cumulative effect that you mentioned.
Absolutely. They all have a cumulative effect. Many of them actually make each other stronger. The general effect is stronger than the sum total of its parts in many cases, and they cause cancer. They are the major cause of cancer epidemic in our world. Every second person in this world has cancer or dies from cancer. That's the statistics. They're getting worse. And we have to thank man-made chemicals. We human beings have a death wish. The things we have created, the things we're using on a daily basis, all all have a negative effect on the human body. So we now have, for those who would like to be healthy and would like to have healthy families and would like their children to be healthy, we have to take serious steps in protecting our families and our children from all man-made inventions. Nature is our friend. The truth exists only in nature. Health exists only in nature because nature works on balance, on harmony. Health is harmony. All man-made inventions create chaos. Disease is chaos. So the more we protect ourselves from these chaotic man-made things, the more we contact with nature and try to be in nature and communicate with nature and eat natural foods and have natural clean water and sleep well in a place that's more natural, the healthier we are and the happier we are.
What about our elders, our grandparents, for example, used to eat good fat, absolutely, but also every day or on a regular basis, bread and polenta?
Well, first of all, we need to understand that people who live now into the 80s and 90s and even 70s, they were born before 1940s, before the Second World War. The whole planet was organic. Just think about that. No other food. There was just food. And all food was organic. There was no industrial agriculture. These people received excellent, healthy microbial communities from their parents, natural, real microbial communities. And they all went through their childhood infections in those days, through measles, through mumps, through rubella, through scarlet fever, through all of those infections, because these infections are given to us by nature for a good reason. Every disease like that is a university for the human immune system, because when we are born into this world, our immune system needs education. We're like little aliens come into this world. We need to get acquainted with this world, to learn about it. And every time you have measles or mumps or any other scarlet fever or any other of these childhood infections, your immune system gets a huge education, huge university.
Yeah.
It gets adapted and adjusted to how to live in this world. Indeed, we now have plenty of research to show that people who had measles, who had chickenpox, who had all these infections naturally as they are, who went through them in their childhood, virtually never have allergies, never have autoimmune disease, and are protected from cancer. They're protected from cancer because their immune system properly matured. It went through a proper university in that time. That is why, because these people got such wonderful constitution in their childhood and they were born at the right time on the planet, they are now living into their 80s and 90s. And of course, the advances of technologies later on, such as plastic hips and plastic knees and dentistry and surgery and other things, they supported them as well at a certain point. That's why they're living such long lives. Children who are born today and who were born in the last 30, 40 years are not going to live that long. Many of them actually die in childhood or die as young people because they have very poor health. And even my generation of people have a health that is not comparable even to those people who were born before the Second World War. That's why they're living so long. That's why they can eat sugar and they can eat bread and all sorts of other things, because they have a strong, robust constitution. Their body can take that abuse and deal with it. They may get arthritis from it, they may get headaches from it, they may have aches and pains from it, but they don't get schizophrenia or they don't get epilepsy. They don't get rheumatoid arthritis or something like that. Where people of later generations who didn't have all those wonderful constitutional features given to them, if they eat sugar and bread, they get seriously ill.
My grandma was like you described, Dr. Natasha. She would eat all the stupid processed food and she lived to 90 years old because of her real good foundation that she built in the, I guess, young period and so on.
Absolutely, that's what's happening.
Here in Romania, the specialists, the doctors recommend if we have bad smelling breath, that we should use regularly chewing gum and also mouth washing chemical solution, as they say.
No, terrible. Bad breath comes from either problems in the mouth. You have abnormal microbial community living in the mouth, and it's these microbes that produce smelly gas. Comes out from your gums, from your teeth, from your tongue. Bad breath can also be due to gastritis, inflammation in the stomach. When in the stomach, remember I said that the human stomach produces hydrochloric acid. That is why there shouldn't be any microbes in there, virtually. There should be very, very few microbes. But people in our modern world take antacids. They take tablets which reduce your stomach acidity. It's one of the biggest profit maker for the pharmaceutical industry. Proton pump inhibitors that people take, to reduce the stomach acidity. Any kind of heartburn or any other kind of stomach problem, immediately these tablets are given to people. So when you reduce the stomach acidity in the stomach, all sorts of microbes start coming in and start growing on the walls of the stomach.
Yeah.
And these microbes then have an ability to produce certain poisons, which stop the stomach from producing acid at all. So your acidity goes even lower. So you don't have much acid there at all. So more microbes come in. Once your stomach is populated by microbial community, they digest the food that you eat. They produce lots of gases. They produce lots of smelly things, poisons in the stomach. And you're breathing that out, and that comes out in burps from your stomach. So that's where the smell can come in. Also, the bad breath can come from liver disease. If your liver is overloaded with toxicity, then it produces certain toxins which then go into your blood, and the blood delivers them to the lungs, and the lungs turn them into gases, and you breathe them out. So you have bad breath. And you will also have bad smelling sweat. You will have a body odor because your sweat will be very, very smelly as well. You don't want to add chemicals. You don't want to start killing these microbes. Not at all. What you want to do, you want to throw away all your dental materials and dental toothpaste and start using the simple dental powder that people used to have for hundreds of years. People used to brush their teeth. You can get clay, dry clay. You can get zeolite. You can get diatomaceous earth. These things are natural powders that come from the earth, from the soil, and you just wet your toothbrush, dip it into that powder, and brush your teeth. They'll be perfectly white and clean, and they will detoxify your mouth. You have kefir on a daily basis. Kefir is a big part of the GAPS diet. What I'm drinking here is Iran kefir with water. It's a very refreshing drink. That's what I drink all day, basically. So if you drink that all day and you keep rinsing your teeth and rinsing your mouth, you will normalize and reharmonize the microbial community in your mouth. You will have normal, healthy microbial community. All the pathogenic microbes will be removed from your mouth, and that will get rid of your bad breath much more effectively. And if you keep drinking that kefir, it will heal your stomach too. It will start removing all the pathogenic microbes in your stomach as well. So there are natural things that you can do. And the GAPS diet, of course, will remove most toxicity and heal your gut and heal your liver.
Unfortunately, here in Romania, for example, zeolite, because you mentioned zeolite, Dr. Natasha, is not anymore allowed to write on the product, on the zeolite product, that is for human consumption.
But that's not good. It's a very natural product, but you don't have to have zeolite. You can have plain calcium carbonate powder.
Yeah.
Just plain calcium carbonate. And a very good practice is also, if you have a good quality olive oil, when you wake up in the morning, you take a mouthful of this olive oil and you hold it in your mouth, just rinsing it, pushing it between your teeth for 10-15 minutes. So while you are doing other things in the bathroom, you just do that. And then you spit that oil out into the toilet, so you don't block your sink. And after that, you brush it with calcium carbonate or clay or any other natural powder like that. What the oil does, it draws, because the gums and the mouth and the tongue have very rich capillary bed, very rich capillary system. So in those 15 minutes, all of the blood in your body will pass several times through your mouth, and the oil will absorb toxins out of your blood. So that oil in 15-20 minutes will become very toxic, full of toxins that you've taken out of your body and put into that oil. So spit it out into the toilet, that oil, and then brush your teeth. And you'll find that your breath will be fresh and your teeth will be clean. And that's the best way to brush your teeth. Throw away all toothpastes.
Even natural ones, without fluoride, without SLS?
Well, there's a lot of cheating in that department, in that industry. They can tell you that it's natural, but in reality, it's not. If it's made with zeolite, if it's made with clay and herbs, that's fine. If it's truly coming from natural companies, that's fine. But why spend the money when you can just get plain clay and plain olive oil?
Good to know. Me, myself, from patient of integrative medicine, I've got an investor in integrative medicine, and since 8 years, we have an integrative medicine clinic, and we work with doctors. And we see in our clinic that 1 of 2 patients, or actually more, have Candida albicans growth. And the question is, does this create a lot of problems, and why do most people have Candida albicans growth?
Because of antibiotics and agricultural chemicals, because fungi are the basis of every microbial community in nature. Called Candida is a fungus, right? It comes from a family of fungi. So every basis of every microbial community in nature are fungi. Our bodies are full of fungi. It's normal for us to have them, fungal networks everywhere. But they need to be balanced with bacteria and viruses and protozoa and all the other creatures in there. Because bacteria eat fungi and control them. Every time you eat something out of a supermarket, it will have glyphosate. You're eating mouthfuls of glyphosate. It's used as a herbicide, it's used as a desiccant, it's sprayed, the ready for harvest wheat, barley, rapeseed, sugar beet, and all the other crops in the Western world now are sprayed just before harvest with glyphosate to dry them up as a desiccant. So the dose of glyphosate you get is colossal in every piece of bread that you eat, in every bit of pasta you eat, in anything made out of those grains, anything, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's an antibiotic. Antibiotics kill bacteria. You remove that bacteria, what's left? Fungi. They're not controlled anymore. Bacteria were controlling them. So they overgrow. They grow very rapidly and very fast. And also fungi are great cleansers. In fact, the role of fungi in nature is to clean dirty places. The more polluted your body is with man-made chemicals, the more fungi and the more candida you will have growing in your body. Because your body deliberately grows candida because candida absorbs these toxins into itself, holding them and protecting you as a result. For example, we now know that if a person has mercury in their body, if you have mercury amalgam fillings in your teeth, you know, the black fillings, the amalgams in your teeth, you can never get rid of candida because your body grows and cultivates candida specifically to absorb that mercury. Candida absorbs it into its own body and holds it there, protecting you. So if you start taking antifungal drugs or antifungal herbs killing this candida, all that mercury will be released back into your blood and make you very sick. So you have to go very carefully, very sensibly, and you have to change your diet first and foremost, make your immune system stronger, and allow your body first to find ways of removing all that mercury and facing all that mercury released from candida before it actually will escort the candida out. It's not simple. It's not just taking an antifungal and thinking, that's it, I'm done.